Bonjour, mes amis. Hey friends, welcome back. And you know what? I promised you a really special episode, and that's just what I'm going to deliver. Right now, as you know, we're experiencing the 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing. What's that in French? Les jeux olympiques 2008 à Pékin. À Pékin. Peking, you know, I think that's what we used to call Beijing, or maybe it's still, you know, another acceptable term for that city. But in French, it's Pékin, à Pékin. So, les Jeux olympiques 2008 à Pékin, the 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing. Okay, when I was thinking of this episode in my head, I thought, oh, this will be so easy. I'll just, you know, talk about sports only in French, and it'll be really easy. Oh my god. First of all, there are like a gazillion different sports. So there's a lot of vocab, and we're only going to scratch the surface. It's not the point to learn everything there is, you know. We just want to touch upon some basics so that you can go forth and explore from there. And I'm going to tell you about a really great website you're going to want to visit. It's www.jeuxolympiques.fr. That's www.jeuxolympiques.fr for France. FR. So, you saw it across the bottom of your screen. Go check it out. You know, you'll learn something, I promise. You'll see every single sport there is in French, which is kind of cool. So anyways, let's talk about one of my favorite sports to begin with. La gymnastique. J'aime regarder les gymnastiques. I like to watch gymnastics. J'aime regarder les gymnastiques. La gymnastique. J'aime regarder la gymnastique. I like to watch the gymnastic. La gymnastique. Okay, so in gymnastics there are tons of events. We'll talk about some of them. Il y a les anneaux. J'aime regarder les anneaux. Les anneaux is the rings. Anneaux is rings. So les anneaux, the rings. Il y a aussi le bar fixe. Le bar fixe. That's the high bar. And then there's also les barres asymétriques. Les barres asymétriques. The asymmetrical bars, or as we like to call them, the uneven bars. Makes sense, right? And then lastly, les barres parallèles. Il y a les barres parallèles. So there we go. And then there's also, we can talk about one of our favorite gymnasts here on the U.S. team. She's actually from Russia. Elle est de la Russe. Elle est américaine, mais elle est de la Russe. Did you catch that? She's American, but she's from Russia. Makes sense, right? Okay. Elle s'appelle Nastia Luken, and elle a gagné la médaille d'or à la gymnastique for the all-around, which I don't know what the all-around is. But anyways, it's not important. Elle a gagné la médaille d'or. Okay, so we've got la médaille d'or. There's also the silver medal. Remember that? Remember what I said about money, l'argent? It's the same for silver. So we have argent, which is silver. La médaille d'argent. La médaille d'argent. We also have la médaille de bronze. La médaille de bronze. And you have to put in that de. You can't just say la médaille bronze. It's la médaille de bronze. The medal of bronze is what you're saying. The medal of gold. La médaille d'or. La médaille d'argent. La médaille de bronze. Make sense? And Nastia Lukin, Elle est fantastique. Elle a gagné la médaille d'or pour la gymnastique all around. All right, we have another favorite athlete here in the United States. Il s'appelle Michael Phelps, and we know that he's a swimmer. Il est nageur. He's a swimmer, and he participates in a sport called swimming, la natation. La natation. It's really cool. There's a term that we have for a building with an indoor pool. It's an auditorium. An auditorium. So it comes right out of Latin, and swimming in French is la natation. So you kind of see how that works. And of course, to swim is nager. So all related there. I just wanted you to kind of get that picture. So la natation, and there's la natation course, which is like Michael Phelps, you know, swimming down the pool, you know, and then there's la natation plongeon, which is diving, la natation plongeon. So think plunge, and there you have la natation plongeon. And then there's one last event, la natation synchronisée, la natation synchronisée, synchronized swimming. So there you go. All right, we did the past, right? Michael Phelps, yeah. Michael Phelps. Il a gagné combien de médailles? Il a gagné 8 médailles d'or. Il est incroyable. He's incredible, right? Then we also have la lutte, which is wrestling, la lutte, or the fight. And then there's la lutte libre, which is freestyle wrestling, and then there's la lutte Greco-Romane, which is Greco-Roman wrestling. And I don't really watch wrestling. It's like, it's too violent for me, and they always look like they're gonna like break their arms or legs. It scares me. But anyways, there's the sport, you know, la lutte, which is a really great vocab word in general. You could say la lutte contre les drogues, the fight against drugs. La lutte contre le terrorisme, the fight against terrorism. So it's very useful vocab word, and of course to fight is lutter. So la lutte is wrestling in terms of the Olympic Games, les jeux olympiques. And then we also have another popular sport, le cyclisme. Le cyclisme, which is cycling. And of course within cycling there's like 100 different categories. But in general it's le cyclisme, it's masculine. And I think that just about does it. There's a million other sports, and I really highly encourage you to go to www.jeuxolympiques.fr and do some exploring on your own. It'll be well worth your time. You'll learn way more than you could possibly imagine. So there you have it. I hope you found that interesting, this whole thing. It was a little different than what we've been doing, but different is good. So, until next time, à la prochaine. Au revoir.